Good day. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment as you see appropriate. Today we're going to talk about an article, bottom of the exchange section of the Wall Street Journal. For a few destinations, tourism is doing better than ever. This is a follow-up from a previous article. Let's get into it. Okay, that looks familiar.
For a few destinations, tourism is doing better than ever. The big vacation is out. America is going camping and boating and hiking and fishing instead. By Gwyn Guilford. August 28, 2020, 1:58 p.m. Eastern Time. The pandemic pummeled tourist hubs across the country this summer as families shunned the usual vacation hotspots, canceling flights and scrapping plans for beach getaways. But for some rustic destinations within a day's drive of big U.S. cities, the coronavirus crisis unleashed a boom. Garrett County, Maryland, suffered with the rest of the country's holiday hotspots when the state ordered non-essential businesses to close on March 23rd. That day, Steve Green laid off his entire staff at High Mountain Sports, an outdoor equipment store that caters to skiers in winter and, in the summer, hikers, bikers, and boaters on nearby Deep Creek Lake. I was having a hard time seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, he said. Then, in late May, Maryland began relaxing the lockdown. It was like on Memorial Day at 4 o'clock someone turned the light switch on, and it's been just nonstop since then, the 52-year-old said. His company, like many others in Garrett County, is on track for a better year than 2019, despite 2.5 months of pandemic lockdowns. People are looking for a place they can go on vacation and feel relatively safe, he said. The area is within a few hours' drive of Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Washington, D.C. The main recreation options involve the man-made lake, Allegheny Mountains, and 8 state parks nearby featuring activities that let families keep to themselves, such as kayaking, biking, and hiking. There is probably no better way to social distance than being on a boat, said Mr. Green. Similar stories are coming from other parklands and lesser-known vacation spots as families steer clear of airports, hotels, and big beach resorts. On a national level, these shifts have led consumers to cut travel spending to just half what they spent last summer, according to the U.S. Travel Association. Yet, in July, more people visited Fort Sumter National Park in South Carolina and Sleeping Bear Dunes and Pictured Rocks on the Michigan shore of Lake Superior than any month since the National Park Service began tracking in 1979. Visits to Valley Forge in Pennsylvania and Maryland's Assateague Island hit multi-decade highs last month. State parks have reported similar surges. Camping is revving up at national parks around the country, despite limits on campsite operations. After 83 days of shutdown, Yosemite reopened on June 11th with capacity limits and all but two of its campsites closed. The California park reported 470,000 visitors last month, just two-thirds of the number in July 2019. However, backcountry campers, backpackers staying overnight at sites accessible only on foot, surged in June and July. Camper numbers also leapt last month at Joshua Tree National Park in Southern California, Hawaii Shores National Park in Minnesota, and Arkansas's Buffalo National River. Nationally, spending on air travel during the week ending August 19th was down around 73% from the same week in 2019, according to Earnest Research, which tracks trends in credit and debit card purchases. That week, consumers were shelling out about half what they did last year on hotel stays. However, they spent just 15% less renting homes on Airbnb and HomeAway as they had the same week in 2019. Maryland's Garrett County comprises a constellation of tiny towns near the westernmost edge of the state. The county's 30,000 residents depend heavily on the 1.4 million visitors each year who come typically for skiing in the winter or outdoor recreation in the summer, said the president of the Garrett County Chamber of Commerce, Nicole Christian. Tourists spend around $315 million annually, supporting around 3,000 jobs, she said. Though things looked bleak in mid-March as the nation shut down, by April takeout orders and boating activity had begun picking up. The urban exodus buoyed the carry-out business in April and May at Dutch's at Silver Tree, a restaurant on the banks of Deep Creek Lake, said Megan Till, 40 years old, the restaurant's general manager and one of its partners. Gas sales for boats jumped in April and May at Silver Tree Marine, said owner Lauren McCann, 35. Second homeowners were using their boats more because most places were closed, she said, adding that many bought takeaway meals to eat on their boats. Foot traffic on a popular hiking trail surged nearly threefold during March, April, and May, according to data collected by infrared counters installed by the county's Trail Maintenance Committee. Hiker visits throughout the summer were between 2 and 3 times higher than the same period last year, said Evan Byrne, chair of the Trails Committee. Jody Rifasco, 42, said her vacation home rental company, TaylorMade Deep Creek Vacations and Sales, went from fielding between 30 and 40 reservations daily to just one a day during the months under lockdown. As states eased their pandemic restrictions, it jumped to 140 a day in late May. Revenue is up 40% year-to-date compared with 2019, despite the lengthy shutdown. To keep up, the company has hired 35 more employees, nearly one-fifth more than the headcount projected before the pandemic. One big reason for that increased demand is that with many workplaces and schools operating on a remote basis, families have much more flexible schedules. Day of the week does not matter, we're getting Sunday to Wednesday, which normally wouldn't happen, said Ms. Rifasco, who co-owns TaylorMade with her husband and brother. The pandemic also lengthened the usual summer season as virtual learning freed up families to travel during the school year in the first half of June and the second half of August. Reservations between June 1st and Labor Day are up 44% from the same period last year, said Ms. Rifasco. Not all businesses in Garrett County are thriving. Wedding cancellations have been a blow to some, hurting Dutch's side business in rehearsal dinners and catering. Around 15% of the staff at Wisp Resort are on furlough, said Lori Zaloga, the resort's marketing manager, though that's down from 84% in late March. Demand for vacation homes is even holding up well into September, said Kristen Skewers of Raleigh Vacations, which manages short-term rentals. The volume of requests for Wi-Fi connection suggests that many are taking advantage of the pandemic to work from a vacation home. You do your work, then you can walk outside, and it's vacation from 5 p.m. on, she said. The perverse benefits of the pandemic might play out differently for Garrett County businesses as the weather cools. Mr. Green of iMountain Sports worries that the same vacationing preferences that have more than doubled his kayak rentals could make the ski season rougher than usual. How do we operate our ski rental shop, which is normally pretty busy, with a lot of people in it? He said. My biggest concern now is how we get through this winter.
Okay, there it is. Businesses are looking forward. My biggest concern now is how we get through this winter. I mean, that's it. This is a little bit different than the previous article about Kyoto, Japan. Um, there, the residents acknowledged economic impact, but were, I guess, reminiscent about older times and the pace that has changed. But this is just about business and keeping business open, keeping businesses in the U.S. With travel restrictions lifted after the pandemic open. So, how do you travel? You travel safely if you want to go on vacation this fall. Um, are you planning extra vacations? Let me know what you think in the comments below.